Greetings, heathens and heretics, and welcome to the aftermath of Bay Days 2025 and the hangover that is gradually
I,
fading away.
I mean, I can just about walk in a straight line now.
Look, before we talk about the weekend, I mean, Saturday night I left about 2:15, and what time did you crash back in your hotel?
Well, unconfirmed. It must have been. It must have been about four. And I think crash is probably the operative word. Yeah. So
You animal.
yeah, we had a small after party. Um, I mean, bloody hell. Things things were very hazy then. There was a grey wig being passed around. I got pictures of Dan in a cowboy hat. Um,
Yeah, no.
it
Well, look,
was,
that
yeah,
kind of that sums it up, really, doesn't it? What a belt of a weekend it was.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the little shindig that we got involved with Bay Days.
Baydays, man.
Chelmsford at Radio City Social. So we had a Friday night and we had an all-day sesh on Saturday, and fuck me, did we have an all-day sesh on Saturday? And it was an absolute fucking barnstorm, wasn't it?
I'd call it a raging success. I mean,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. I think anyone that's been following the podcast would have seen us like posting about it beforehand, just trying to build a bit of hype. Which as were all the bands, which was great because the event was a sellout, and I think let's just get that one in there straight away. Um, exactly what we wanted it to be. We put the message out there and the people came, man, and boy did they come, like full
You book
house.
them, they will come. Yeah, man. It was fucking. I've never seen Radio City that busy, especially sort of Saturday when Dimscua were on, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it was
Yeah.
absolutely round in there. Like no one was out smoking, no one was in the garden. It was everybody was kind of transfixed with that.
That is a very good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, it was rammed, wasn't it? Like, the venue was full most of the time. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that's people wanting to get fully involved.
And drink the bar dry, which
Yeah, I
which
mean,
you all did.
towards the end of that Saturday, obviously, like all the boards with all the beer are kind of on back behind the bar, and one by one they're all coming down. That one's
Yeah,
off now. That one's off now. That one's off. And I mean, we bang on about it enough on here, but Radio City Social, home of Radio City Beer Works, it's incredible beer. And
really
I'm
is.
not just saying that, I'm not just kind of, blowing smoke up their arse. It really is. Um, the fact that we were kind of trying it all out as well.
Probably
You
didn't
know,
help the hangover, did it? Well, I'll have that one now, and I'll have that one, and I'll have that
yeah,
one, and I'll have that one, and but yeah, yeah, Dan, you're an evil genius, mate.
yeah,
You really are. But look, before we get to the bands, and let's quickly shout out because we were well down Radio City Beer Works had launched essentially three beers, but two of their own, and then a collab one as well. So we'll
yeah,
quickly talk about it because the ADCX one. That was fucking lovely. Absolutely fucking just 6% of pure gold.
yeah,
That was.
yeah. And I think for a strong beer as well, it was smooth.
Was.
That was, I was kind of expecting to do the old kind of like, you know, when it's a bit tart.
6% is all right. It's when you start going over that, it's more of a challenge.
That's yeah, that's true. But this just had a lovely smooth texture to it. So IPA, um, yeah,
Yeah.
very cool,
Go and check that
very
out.
nice. What else did we had? Then we had the Dimscua, didn't we? The black
Yeah, the
lager.
collab with Indie Rabble Brewery, who Dimscua are sort of involved with anyway, and that was a black lager, which is always
Mm.
interesting, and that was really nice as well. A few pints of that till that disappeared.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
that's a new one for me as well. Black, so for anyone like me that's never had it, it kind of looks like a Guinness, but it tastes like it's like a fizzy lager.
yeah, quite peculiar, but absolutely fucking lovely. But I think it's the battle pints we need to really talk about, isn't it?
Fuck me, man! What a concoction that was. I mean, right, let's start with it. It's a powerful beer, an 8% stout. Um, Chocolate and chili. Was that the flavor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
chocolate chili stout. Yeah,
chocolate chili, and boy was it chocolate chili. Yeah, I mean, like I was fascinated by that one.
It was a
Because
peculiar experience, wasn't it? Because you got all that smooth chocolatiness first, and then after about 5 to 10 seconds, the spice hit, and it was I was sweating.
I don't know if that was the beer. I think that was just the general vibe.
Could be, yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah, it definitely, it definitely knocked me for six. I mean, that was the beginning of the end, surely.
yeah, yeah, that
Um,
beer is a proper night ender, definitely. But
and thankfully, in fact, I'm laughing because we were talking about it throughout the whole weekend. It's like, at what point do we hit the um
yeah,
the 8%? Because I
yeah,
think
it
there's
wasn't a
some
Saturday
acknowledgement,
lunchtime for us.
our own involvement in the festival, there's a certain set of responsibilities that come with that. There's a certain degree of needing to sort of just, keep an eye on things. So you don't want to go in with the 8% straight away. But I think as
Lunchtime
soon
beer.
as Gurt hit the stage, that was it. All bets were off, and we
Yeah,
we were
had to
in.
be, didn't it? Had to be. But well, let's rewind to Friday anyway. So we kicked
Mm,
off Friday sort of 6 o'clock ish. With Divided Kingdom, who are local band. They played the bar a couple of times. First time I'd seen them, to be fair,
yeah,
and sort of just like a straight up, pretty much straight up metal band, hard rock influences and that, with some Motley Crueisms in there in the melodies and that. But I've really fucking enjoyed them. It was really cool, and it was good opportunities to them to play, with the likes of Inhuman Nature. So a lot of people in the room. Absolutely fucking nailed it, I thought.
I thought it was a fantastic way to kick things off. They were a surprise to me. I hadn't heard them beforehand, so I didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, just as you said, that kind of like new wave of British heavy metal,
Mm.
like the Motley Crueisms were in there, but it's that, what we're called. I mean, it depends how you feel, but I call it kind of the good Motley Crue, where it's a bit snotty and they still had a bit of metal in their sound, those early albums. But apologies, I don't know the guy's name, but the singer's voice was incredible,
Yeah, got some
really
pipes.
hitting that kind of new wave of British heavy metal, soaring anthemic vocals. This is just the start. And I'm just like, hang on, like they're playing like a headline band.
Yeah, yeah, they were really
Great.
fucking good. So definitely go and check them out because you know, again, a lot of what we talk about, a lot of what we do is all about these grassroots bands and grassroots venues. So that is the epitome of that. Go and check out Divided Kingdom because they're really fucking cool.
Yep.
At this point, we were already running a bit late, weren't we?
Of course. Of
And so,
course.
so
Why
if you're
not?
running late, if you're promoting shows, if you've ever got any issues with this, if you're running late, give Power Failure a ring and they'll sort you out. Longer to fucking set up than they did to play their actual set.
I mean, they rattled through it, but great, great energy. Um, yeah, it reminds me of that story of Raining Blood. They had like half an hour material and they recorded it in like 23 minutes or whatever it is. I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, this was the first moment where you can't confine the band to the stage, and it starts to, everything's coming in you in 3D at this point, and the
James
band
doesn't
off the
do stage.
stage, stalking around in the crowd, all that hardcore energy. Um, you know,
Fucking love them. I fucking love Power Failure. They're fucking great. They're absolutely fucking great. They can play in my kitchen if they want. They'll
yeah,
do a
you
full
could,
set in the time it takes me to wash the dishes.
well, that's it. You could use them as an egg timer.
There you go. Perfect. Soft boiled, obviously. So who was next then?
Oh man, I mean, look, you'd think after that, a great start to the festival. Um, yeah, how can you up the ante? Well, All Father.
Yeah.
That's how you up the ante.
Yeah. Al doing double duties. And
Um,
yeah, All
yeah.
Father's only show of 2025 as well.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's their only show of 2025, and we probably should have made a bigger deal out of that. But so look, a massive thanks to All Father for doing
Yeah.
that because that's not easy because they don't all live local and get them all together in one room for one single fucking show
Yeah.
that
Well,
means
look,
a
they
lot.
they made a big deal out of it. I think that was, like I said, everything was the quality bar was here, and this is nothing against the other bands, but All Father just took it up to here. We
Yeah,
were just like flying by that point.
yeah.
Really good.
All of that is good old proper fucking chest beating, dirty fucking Medway sludge. Love it. Absolutely
Yep.
love
And shout out at this point, I think to Nikki Pantrini, who'd made the trip purely just to see All Father, and she kind of came in like a whirlwind, like did the business, had a All Father moment, and then sunk a couple of
From
pints and
West
she,
London we had as
yeah,
well. So,
and
yeah,
she was out the door. Um, but I think that's testament to how special that set was.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, and what a great fucking band they are. So again, always they'll become a house band at Radio City if I got anything to do with it. So. So we're getting to the point. Look, we're Warp Storm are up next, who again have played the bar before, and kind of the Friday was a little bit of a, we tried to get a couple of bands in that have played before, so it was a little bit of a best of the shows we've done. So Warp Storm have
Yeah.
played, All Father have obviously played, and Power Failure have played a couple of times. Divided Kingdom haven't played an Abyss show, but they have
Hmm.
played there a couple of times. So it was a bit of a best of, and look, Warp Storm are, if anyone's going to carry the torch that Orange Goblin are leaving behind, it's fucking
Yeah.
Warp
Yeah.
Storm.
There you go. There you go. And anyone that can wear a pair of mirrored shades indoors, man, like, automatically just kind of gets rock star status. So, it was, by this point, I might have been slightly drunk, so we're having fun, and it was just it was a fun set for me. That's kind of, everything's just bubbling along by this
It's,
point.
it's bringing rock and roll, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no fucking about, just riffs and fucking tunes and a fucking good time. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time, that's all you need.
Yeah, yeah, true. And a nice, and a bit of a change of gear and a palate cleanser. We've
Yeah,
had Power
yeah,
Failure, we've
definitely.
had All Father, really kind of aggressive
Yeah,
sounding bands. So put a bit of rock and roll back in that, and it's just a nice way to just steer it off in a different direction.
yeah, yeah. It fit really well. So, again, always welcome. But look, one of the bands that I wanted to book when we started doing this, that I wanted in that space, was Inhuman Nature. So it just made total sense to get them into Bay Days, which we obviously did. And they're such a fucking, like, live, they're absolutely on fire. They're just so in your face. It's fucking relentless for like 50 minutes. Absolutely fucking just rips you to pieces. And it doesn't matter whether they're on, like main stage at Bloodstock, where they will be next summer, or in a 75 cap room. They just absolutely fucking destroy it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that, I get the sense, or I had the sense that there was a lot of anticipation for
Yeah, yeah,
Human Nature's set. You could kind of, the atmosphere in the room was palpable. A lot of people waiting for them to have their moment. Headline set Friday night, and they fucking nailed it. The energy levels were through the roof.
nailed it to a fucking cross, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You know,
honestly, the few times that we've seen them, over the last few years, and they just deliver every time. And I love live bands like that. They
mm,
just come on and they just fucking do it. Big shout out to Dara, bass player. Just some of the poses he was pulling were just unreal.
exactly.
Like it.
It's a stadium-sized performance. They're throwing everything into that. In this little bar, and people lapped it up, man. I keep looking back at the photos of just bodies flying everywhere. I mean, shout out to the two Brummies who were showing off their war wounds like the following day. We're getting photos, WhatsApp pings, and there's Jack with a black eye, and it's like it's all in human nature.
Yeah, mate. Apparently it was my shoulder, but like, take me to court.
You can, yeah,
Even I was on people's fucking shoulders, and I haven't done that for many, many years. Who wants to fucking lift this fat cunt up? So.
there you go. See, in human nature, making people do crazy things.
Making people do stupid things.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, though, that was just a night. We had to kind of like, right, we need
yeah.
to cut it off. I left at midnight. Was sensible. Um, and we knew that the Saturday was going to be such a long day, a much more mixed bag.
Mm,
But I think it was what I loved about the Sunday, right? The Saturday, sorry, was we started off with a couple of acoustic acts, Jake
yeah,
Cheek, all
yeah,
Sunday,
yeah,
and just it was a nice sort of easy way to break in the day, like get you back in, sort of rehydrate a little bit, and get your head back in the game,
yeah, yeah.
rather than just getting your face torn off right from the start. It was good to have that.
I think people needed it. It's interesting, on the Friday night, kind of people are there at doors, steady queue of people coming in, claiming their wristbands. Saturday was a bit. slower. I think there must have been a few dazed and confused
Yeah,
residents, Chelmsford's
definitely.
kind of wandering around. So yeah, it was nice, just to get everyone congregating while we just had some very cool music. Jake Cheek and Wolf Sunday, um, separately, not together, but just kind of played the first two sets of the uh, of the day. Um, Wolf Sunday was cool. Like reminded me a little bit of like Mark Lanigan. There was kind of something
Yeah, a bit of that.
that
Yeah,
that kind of vibe
bit of an
going
edge.
on. Bit of a yeah, kind of troubadour sort of thing going on. And then Jake Cheek, we got a Slipknot, an acoustic Slipknot
Acoustic
cover
Slipknot cover. Yeah, fair
from
play for that as well.
Jake. So shout out to that. So it was acoustic, but it was still very metal.
Yeah, it was the right way to start, and from there we went into In a House of Heartbeat to a
Yeah,
South End based kind of spacey post rock instrumental kind of
kind of everything.
thing,
And the
you
guitar
know.
player was
And
wearing chainmail, which I
yeah, yeah,
which
and they
I
really they
thought was
properly
very cool.
properly have people captivated as well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and that's part of it, isn't it? Like part of the sort of ethos of Bay Days, what we're trying to achieve is it's a little
yeah,
bit experimental, do a few things different. You can have Inhuman Nature, but you can also have an acoustic act or whatever. That's what it's all about.
yeah.
And bands like In a House of Heartbeats really epitomize that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the clear distinction between that opening evening and the Saturday where we really did dive into that diversity.
Yeah.
And in a House of Heartbeats, everything they do is like diversity. It's like the different sounds and textures, and there's synths going in there, there's riffs happening. It really was everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, it was. They were very cool. They're definitely one to watch. I think, they'll probably start popping up on a few, sort of post rock, post metal types of bills
Yeah,
where they
yeah,
will fit really well. They played with bands like Mountainscape who do a similar kind of thing. And yeah,
right.
definitely ones to watch out for. And the same goes for Details as well, which we
Yeah.
found out on the evening it was only their second show,
Right. Yeah. I
right?
love Details. That for me was a real revelation. Like I didn't know them beforehand other than um well, I hadn't heard them, you know what I mean? So um and they were similar to In a House of Heartbeats, just that big epic soundscape
Sort of
sort of
wall
thing
of
going
noise
on.
type thing.
But the sound of the Fender Jaguar pricked up my ears, and I know I came over to you, and I was quite taken with that. This kind of lovely cutting tone that just carried through the music. Um, yeah, just again, just very cool, very I was transfixed by them,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they sounded massive. Another band that just sounded massive in that
yeah,
little space.
yeah. And I think that's an important thing to mention as well because Ryan and Jamie who did the sound all weekend were pretty run ragged, to
Yeah,
be
man.
honest with you. And so, to turn around 15 sets in the way they did, and Jamie also DJ'd after hours as well. I think
That's
between
right.
them, it's just
Yeah,
just
yeah.
unreal.
I mean that you can't argue with that commitment to the cause there.
No,
Um,
no,
but
that's
yeah, and go back to that point about the diversity of the music as well. You can't just kind of put the faders up and just let it ride. It's
yeah,
everything. You got to think about everything. There's different sounds going on. And like these two kind of middle bands we're talking about, throwing so much into the mix. It's like, yeah, you got to be on your toes, man, to carry that sound away.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And then Juanstone comes along and makes it 10 times harder. So,
Man, yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
I
seen
mean,
so much gear on that stage.
yeah, I mean like a full equipment, everything came off and a
Yeah,
whole array of different things then get set up. We got electronic drum kit there, we got a bank of laptops and then live instruments coming in. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know One Stone, it's like electronica, really, I suppose, broadly speaking. Um, but for me, what was really interesting was chatting to him afterwards and just acknowledging how passionate he is about, that the electronica kind of trance house scene, as much as he is about rock music
yeah,
and metal. So to have him mash those two genres up as successfully as he did, you've just got to admire that, haven't you?
first time playing with a band as well. Usually it's a solo performance, so drummer and a guitar player for the first time. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah, that in itself is a challenge. I know he was really nervous beforehand, but like,
Right.
you know, mate, you absolutely fucking nailed it. Really, really enjoyed that set. And you got people in there who are, you know, staunch metalheads and you know,
Oh
way,
yeah.
you know, the likes of Gurt and that, but you just see people were just enjoying it
Yeah, it was the head
all
nod.
the way
What
through.
the head nod was there,
Yeah.
and a full room.
Yeah, it was
You know.
packed, and this
Yeah.
is like 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon
Yeah.
at this point as well. So that's again, that's worth bearing in mind. This is not late night. This is the afternoon.
Yeah.
Place is already packed. So
Yeah. And
that's
again, and a shout out to, the people of Chelmsford, because it's lovely to see that commitment to all of the bands.
yeah,
They're as into it, and they're giving as much attention to something like One Stone as they are, All Father. It's just like
yeah,
they're showing up.
yeah, and that's look, people show up, then these things will carry on happening. That's
Yeah.
what we always say, isn't it? But at this point, we kind of the idea was to have a bit of a break at this point, but you know, the One Stone circus, for want of a better word, did make us a bit late. But it was getting to the point where we were like, well, look, fuck the council. You know, we're not ruining anybody's experience here. This needs to fucking plow on through. The show
Right.
must
Yeah.
go on and all
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so we went into the evening session then where we went, you know, back to being a little bit more metally. We started off with Tooth and Dagger, come down from
Yeah. Probably the most, I would say, contemporary sounding metal
yeah,
bands
yeah,
that we had on the bill. So we're really leaning into the kind of, I suppose, more of a metalcore sound
yeah.
with those guys. But slick, man,
Mm.
slick and heavy. Again, like the quality bar just remains.
I thought like, slick was the word I thought about as well, to be fair. Like watching them, they were kind of well polished
Yeah,
machine, you know, sort of well crafted songs, all of that, which when you're doing that kind of music, you know, anything metalcore where you need the big catchy choruses and
yeah,
all of that lot, you know, they've got that down to a T. So again, another one that people may not have heard of, but definitely worth checking out. I
yeah.
believe
Very
they're
cool.
from Birmingham way.
Right.
So yeah, if they're playing near you, definitely go
Yeah.
and check them out.
It is a subgenre that just requires people to be on top of their game, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
that's right.
like there's a lot of technology that goes into some of those performances, and you're talking, just the nature of it, that kind of clinical heaviness. There's a lot of
Yeah,
click tracks going on, a lot of augmented sounds and stuff like that. Um, and so yeah, you can't be phoning it in. This
right.
isn't some kind of dusty desert fest stoner band that can, um, which is,
Which
it's
is all good.
it's all good in that context, man. But here, when it needs to hit you right between the eyes. That's
Yeah,
exactly what Tooth and Dagger did.
yeah, they properly did. Look, probably all the bands on the lineup. Dimscua were probably the most hyped, right? So for
Yeah.
anybody who's not familiar, you know, they got picked up by well-known podcasts earlier in the year, Two Promoters, One Pod. They played Arctangent Festival, they played Damnation Festival literally a week before they played with us. To massive crowds, like huge. You're talking
Mm,
thousands of people watching this band. So it was always going to be interesting to see how this translates into such a small room. I think they've only played 8 or 9 shows, maybe 10 at a
right.
push.
Yeah.
And you know, listening to the EP Dust Eater, you know, it reminds me of the first time I heard Cult Luna back in the early days, so when
Right.
Cult Luna
Yeah.
were, you know, a brutally heavy outfit. And I was like standing there watching. The room was absolutely packed at this point. Like I said earlier on, nobody was outside, no one was in the garden. Everybody was watching this band.
Mm,
Right, come on, then let's see what it's all about.
mm.
And yeah, fuck, they've got it, haven't they? They had
Oh,
like pure fucking rock star quality in that. It was
yeah. Yeah.
like
That
they've
it
been
was.
doing it for 20 years.
Yeah. It was something special. I mean, uh, people were crying after their set. I mean,
Yeah,
it was that intense. Um, Again, it just sounded bigger than the building.
yeah,
It was like standing next to a 747 or something. It just in this huge sound, and the kind of the smoke and the fog which is drifting through as well, just gave it this extra sense of like weight and occasion. Um, yeah, that. I mean, I had seen Amen Ra a couple of weeks prior, and for me, it matched that in intensity.
Yeah.
It just an incredible, a real
Massive
highlight of the
future, I
festival.
think, is
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
thing, isn't it?
yeah.
You know, getting to the rounds, start doing full length album. Well, I say full length album. The EP was 32 minutes, 4 songs, but
Right.
whatever way, whichever way you want to look at it, when they, I think, next step up, and they're doing Arctangent again next year. There's no
Yeah.
reason why they can't be on some of the bigger bills as well. Because they are they are huge in the way they put this sound across. And I know,
Yeah.
you tend to get that with post metal bands. They do always sound a lot bigger live than they do on record.
Yeah.
But this
But
was this was something else.
yeah, and like on that point, I was really taken by because it's not just about turning up. We've said it several times on this episode. It's like it sounded huge, but that's not achieved just by turning the volume up,
No.
right? It's about arrangement, and a band like that, a band like Dimscua, um, they'll take the music, they will complement each other in their playing. There's this real tapestry of sound, but then when they need it to really hit, they'll all come in and bring a riff in together and join in, and it just smashes you in the face, and then all of a sudden it sort of disperses out, and you've just got this kind of this beautiful mixture of sound, um, and that's really something to admire them for, and that's how they achieve it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Just the general
Um,
presence of them on stage as well. They look the part, just all dressed in black,
yeah,
very simple. Like you
classic,
said,
classic.
you just, yeah, absolutely. Look,
Mm.
this kind of music at the minute is pretty strong. There's a
Mm.
lot of great post metal, and there's a lot of great ones in the UK. Shout out to the Grey, who I think are the ones who are doing it better than anybody else.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you were
yeah,
just mentioning the House of Heartbeats, and then we had A Day Called X, who also lean into that kind of
yeah.
post metal thing, but they're a bit more. There's more sort of a bit of punkiness in there as well, and they're a little bit more unhinged, I suppose, when they play
Yeah.
live. But
Well, on that note, we have to mention the fact that we had a like a hen party.
yeah,
Um,
well,
so
it's like the wedding reception.
yeah, right. Okay. So, I'm kind of watching people come into the festival, and then halfway through the evening, this group of people come in all wearing the sashes with the names and
Bridal veil as
congratulations, and
well, wouldn't it?
yeah, and the veil, and of course one of ACDX's sorry,
Ah,
ADCX's.
glad
Man,
you
that's
got
been
that
that has been
mistake first.
tripping me up throughout the whole festival. So apologies, yeah. But ADCX had got married the day before, I think. Is that
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
story. So married in Las Vegas, fl
madness.
flown back and had their kind of after party at Bay Days, and um, I don't know how many of the group were kind of metalheads or into alternative music or that way inclined, whatever. But they all got involved.
Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, and so look, they're a very cool band, ADCX. They're another one that I think are going places. There's a really cool album again, stroke EP. It's only 2 tracks. It's out there on vinyl as well, actually, which is well worth checking out. And again, another Essex-based band. So the scene is fucking strong,
Yeah.
really fucking strong. But look, it's not all about Essex because we had to get some Northerners in there, didn't we?
Yep. Yep. Equal Opportunities Festival.
The Mighty Dunes.
Well, what can I say?
Yeah, we fucking love you boys. We really do.
Yeah, I mean, look, kind of, the relationship with Dunes goes way back by this point, and they're always entertaining, right? Always worthwhile. You see their name on a bill, and it's going to be a good time. They know how to do it. Um, but I'm going to say this felt like I don't know what was different about it, but it really hit.
You did.
It really made an impression.
It was my favorite set of the weekend.
Right. Yeah, and I think for a lot of people that was true. I think anyone that hadn't seen Dunes before were walking away from that set just like minds blown. Um, it it they've just honed what they do down to perfection.
Yeah, yeah, they really have. And being a three piece, look, they don't sound anything like Motorhead, but it's the same kind of approach, isn't it? It's just lay it down, fucking good songs, riffs, but
Yeah,
fucking and in Nicky, a drummer that absolutely fucking pounds that kit.
yeah, yeah.
Like I
Well,
was
that's it.
mesmerized on him, just like fucking fixated watching him hit the shit out of that drum kit.
Yeah, 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 and it's that that energy that it provides that energy and that thrust, but then you layer on top of that excellent songwriting,
Yeah,
and
hook after hook, mate. They
it's
really
hook
are.
after hook. So it's just a recipe for something really special. And yeah, yeah, that was one of the sets that just felt special. Everyone was good,
Yeah,
but there were a few that were just next level special, and Dune's definitely one
yeah,
of them.
yeah. They really were. So yeah, look, no doubt we'll have them back again because why not? It's a long way for them to come, but it's worth it for the beer, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
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 So
They don't need persuading.
no, of course they don't. So look, at this point, we're running about 45 minutes late or so, I think. So it's all
Yeah,
gone out the window.
there was a bit of panic. We were trying to ignore the panic, but there was, kind of an element of chaos and panic underneath things by this point. But,
Look, it's all in the spirit of it, isn't it? It's like,
exactly.
don't cut anybody out. It's just we need to plow on and we deal with the aftermath if there is one. But by the time Gurt come on, yeah, we are running pretty late. But look, place is still packed, and
No.
everyone's waiting for the mighty Gurt. And
Yeah.
again, a live band that just always deliver. It's
Yeah.
just they're just so fucking good at what they do. Just pure filth,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and a glorious Button Moon t-shirt as well.
Yeah. I mean, special, that is a quality choice of t-shirt. I mean, I think that put a smile on everyone's face just from the off, and that's before the band have even started. And by this point, we've both got a pint of kind of 8% chocolate chili stout in our hands, which was a lovely prop to have when they played Battle Pants or Battle Pints, I think, as
Battle pints, battle
they
pints.
renamed it. Um, yeah, Gert have been on the scene for a while now. Go back years, and a band that a lot of people talk about with real positive regard,
Yeah.
and you can see why. Um, you know, they just bought it and they just closed the festival off in style. Another set I think a lot of people were anticipating, were really
Yeah.
waiting for.
Yeah. They've got a
Um,
weird sort of cult following,
yeah,
Gert, that people will just turn up to see them, and you can understand once you see them live, you can fully understand why.
yeah,
Something very engaging about them,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Slightly unhinged, a little bit mad.
Yeah, you need a bit of that.
But that's it, isn't it? That's the appeal. That's the
But
appeal. It's like you're
you,
not
you
quite
don't
sure what direction it's going to go in,
yeah. You don't write songs with titles like, in for a pound, in for a penny, in for a pounding without being
Yeah,
a bit,
yeah.
a
And
little
even
bit
the
out there.
sight of Gareth just kind of like sort of tied up in his own
Yeah.
microphone cord, just this element of kind of what the fuck is going on? Who's going to cut him out of that at the end of the set? Um, while staring you in the eye and just kind of that voice of his, man, it's just
It's just disgusting.
it's yeah,
But
yeah, but in a good way.
of course, of course. So look, I mean, that was it in terms of the bands. But we ploughed on. Jamie and Lloyd Rush, shout out to the pair of them, sort of DJ'd on for another couple of hours. Why fucking stop there? So yeah, it was. Look, I
Exactly.
mean, I like I said, I left about 2:15. You lot carried on. I was fucked. I was just
Oh,
done.
I was fucked. I was just irresponsible. That's all. Absolutely should have gone to bed. But no, we went to the club and yeah, I mean, fuck knows. It was do you know what? One of the things I said to Dan on the way over there, it's like, Dan, I want to buy you a beer, but it kind of feels wrong buying you a beer in your bar, it's your the beer you make.
Yeah,
So
that
it
makes
was
sense.
a nice opportunity just to kind of take him
I have a
somewhere.
can of
And
Stella.
we did go from the sublime to the ridiculous because we were drinking cans of Stella at that point,
Scumbags.
which, yeah, exactly. I mean, pure filth. But yeah, it was just a bit of a nightcap, and a few people just came over there and just finished things off in a silly, stupid way. Yeah, till well, I think
You were,
those guys ended up getting because I did bail. I think it just reached the point where I was just like, I have to go. I'm barely standing up. And texts that were flying around the following morning, I think they got in at about 6 or something like that.
I think it was, yeah, yeah.
So, it was good, but I think everyone ended it all with a smile on their face.
Yeah, and
I
I think
mean,
that's the lasting impression from the weekend, isn't it? It was like
yeah.
the whole weekend was the ultimate high. It almost felt like, how can we ever top this?
Yeah, it's like everybody, and I mean everybody that was there just seemed to be in good spirits. No trouble, no edginess,
No,
just a room full of people having a good time. You talk about smiling. I think every time I looked across and saw Radio City Dan, just this big beaming smile on his face. And one of my favorite memories is I think pretty much after every set, he'd kind of walk over to our little desk at the front, the little merch desk, and he'd say, that was fucking excellent. That was really fucking excellent. You know, every band hit the mark for him.
yeah, they really did, and look, it's a
For
testament
all of
to
us,
every band. It really is, and every single person who turned up, for those that are local, those that have come further, because people did come. We have obviously got our local Chelmsford scene, which is growing at a ridiculous rate all the time.
yeah,
We're really tapping into something, and look, things are getting, only going to get bigger. So we announced Bay Days for 2026,
yeah,
which will be on the 1st of August. Tickets are on sale now. If you go on our socials to the link in our bio, you can buy tickets. It's completely blind. We haven't announced the lineup yet. We have many bands already booked. We're
yeah,
ready to announce. So in
yeah,
sometime in the next couple of weeks, we will be putting that out there. And believe me, we are stepping it up.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, that's an understatement, isn't it? It's bigger, it's better, it's more, it's,
more.
more, it's just more, it's more Bay Days. And, as you said, tickets are on sale now, but just to remind people, this year we sold out.
Yes, we did.
Right. And people are buying tickets. People have started buying tickets.
Yeah, yeah, and like again, massive thank you to those people who've already bought tickets. And like, to give you the gist, we go from one venue over 2 nights to 4 different stages next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Our biggest stage will be around about 250 cap, all nice and close to each other. We'll have a little outdoor festival village area. We'll have some acoustic acts, and between Radio City, Hotbox, and Chelmsford Theatre, we're going big.
Yeah.
Go big or go back to fucking Basildon. We do it properly.
Yeah. So get involved.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
in.
right for it.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, of course. So everybody's welcome, even people from Basildon. Honestly, you are really. Well, that's it. That is it for another year. We've got some other stuff going on next year as well, which we will reveal eventually. But it's going to be an exciting 2026. I
Absolutely.
think.
Because it really does feel like a little scene has just
Yeah,
sprung up, in that little corner of the universe, which I think is a really positive thing. And just kudos to everybody involved, Matt.
yeah,
It's noticed and it's appreciated.
yeah, yeah. It absolutely is. So yeah. We will see you all next year. We've got one more episode to come after this, where we catch up with Joe Hoare from Orange Goblin. I'm sure we've mentioned that already, but probably fucked that up somewhere along the line. And then we're almost at the end
We
of the
can
year.
beep it out. We can beep it out.
Yeah, probably. And then we'll be back after that in a couple of weeks with a bit of an end of year thing, look back in the year, and
Of
obviously do
course.
our top 11 albums as well. So, I think that's a bit of a mystery this year.
Yeah, I
That,
don't think we've really kind of thrown a lot of obvious,
no.
I think everyone's keeping their cards quite close to their chest.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one, that. So keep an eye out for that. So we'll see you in a week or so. Again, thanks to all the bands and all the people who came to Bay Days,
Yeah,
to everybody who worked, everybody who was involved, just to make it just an absolutely unreal weekend. And we will see you next year, August 1st. Don't miss it. Stay metal.